Okay, so this is AmStyles Lesson 1.3 lab. The first question says, discuss the following question with your group. What do you think would happen to the current if you added more batteries to the circuit in the picture? So, we have already created this circuit in the last lab. So, what do you think is going to happen when you add more batteries to this circuit? So, write your answer down on number 1. Okay, now on number 2, you're going to take that broad idea of what you think is going to happen on number 1, and you're going to write it into hypothesis form. So remember, it's if, then the independent variable, then dependent variable. Remember, the independent variable is what is being measured or what's changing. And then the dependent is doing the changing, and you can get a number from it. Number or measurement. So if we increase the number of batteries, then what do you think is going to happen? So then the current will increase, or then the current will decrease. Because remember, we're doing this in current because we're measuring it in amps. So we're talking about current. So if we increase the number of batteries, then the current will, and then whatever you think will happen, increase or decrease. All right, number 3 says you will use D-cell batteries and their battery holders to build a compound battery. So we have learned yesterday from the PhET simulation that a compound battery is when you have multiple batteries. So you can either put them in a series where they're side by side, or you can put them in a parallel where they're going to be up and down. Remember, side by side, if you turn one of them off, all of them turn off. In a parallel, if one goes off, the other ones will still stay as a closed circuit because they're not connected in the same circuit. So we will be using a series today. So from this to the picture, you can look at it both ways. So we've got series and parallel. So we're using series circuits today. So the way that we will connect the batteries when the time comes is we'll be going side to side like this. Okay? So make sure that you are able to connect your batteries. And if you need wires to connect your batteries, then you'll just let me know. Okay? All right. So we're not doing that quite yet. Number 4 says, make a prediction about what you will observe once you have changed the number of batteries in the circuit and closed the switch. So we've kind of already done that in number 1 and 2, so you don't have to answer anything in number 4. All right, number 5. We're going to actually fill in the table. So this is a data table. We've learned how to do data tables. The first thing we have to do is we have to create a title. So a title for this could be something like current in a series circuit with increased number of batteries. So remember, the title tells you everything that you are going to be seeing in that data table. Do y'all remember that? Yes? No? Yeah? Okay, good deal. All right, so we are going to create the circuit, and the first time we're only going to use one battery in a series. So I'm going to pause the video and set the circuit up, and then I'm going to start the video again once the circuit's complete. You need to take this time to create your circuit. Okay, so we have set up the circuit, the series circuit with one battery. Remember, when you're setting up your series circuit, you have to go from negative to the negative end of the battery, then positive to the positive end of the ammeter. And it will go up. Remember, if your ammeter goes below 0, that means you have flipped something in your circuit, probably your battery, and it's trying to go negative or positive to negative, and it can't do that. So always check to make sure that everything is correct and based off your ammeter reading. All right, so in your lab, it says number of batteries in the series, 1. And then it says your current with the switch closed with milliamps. So looking at my ammeter, we can see that I'm on 1 tick mark past 200. And we learned in the first lab that each tick mark is worth 10 milliamps. So I'm at 210 milliamps. So I'm going to fill that in on my data table right here. So 210 milliamps. So that's in a series with 1 battery. Now the data table wants me to set it with 2 batteries. So I'm going to connect my 2 batteries. So I should be able to just pop them inside one another. And if you can't, then you may have to get some wires, which is okay. So I'm going to connect this wire to that one. And then I'm going to get another wire. And I'm going to connect these 2 batteries. They're still in a series circuit. And my ammeter went up. We can see that my ammeter went up to 300. So that is my new current with 2 batteries. So I'm going to write 300 milliamps. So I've increased my current by increasing my battery number. So let's do 3 batteries. So I may be able to pop these inside one another and create the current that way. If not, you can get another wire. And we see that our current went up again. So our new current is at, well, my batteries came undone. So my new current, you can see, is at 360 milliamps. So that's my current with 3 batteries. So now it says to graph your data. So I'm going to pause this so we can graph our data. So now we're going to graph the data that we got in our data table from the increasing number of batteries. So remember, when we're graphing something, we use dry mix. And remember, we've got dependent responding on the y-axis, manipulated independent on the x-axis. So we've got our x and our y-axis right here. And we need a title. Now we're going to create we need a title for each of these. So we've got on our x-axis, we've got the independent variable. So remember, when we had our independent variable, it was what is changing. So we're changing the number of batteries. So number of batteries is on our x-axis. And our y-axis is what is responding, which is going to be our dependent variable. Remember, that's what we're measuring. So that's our current. And always put your unit, so it's in milliamps. And we've already created our title. So it's the current in a series circuit with increasing or increased number of batteries. Now we're going to start our scale. So we know that our number of batteries is the same. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. And we have learned from our, when we did our unit on graphing, that this kind of information, we have quantitative and quantitative. Remember, numbers and numbers, so it's going to be a bar graph. So we've got on number one battery, we have to create a scale for all three of the batteries. So we're going to start down here with 0, and we know that our highest number can either be 360, or we could do it easier and we could go up just to 400, and then go to the middle at 200, then half that with 100, and half that with 300. Use what you've learned in that graphing unit to create your scale. So now we're going up. We can half that at 50. We can half that at 150. Half that at 250. Half that at 350. And if we wanted to, we could even half those at 25, then 75, 125, 175. So we could keep halving until we create an entire scale if we wanted to. So I'm just going to do it this way. So with one battery, we had a current of 210 milliamps. So I'm going to go up to 210, which is just right over 200. And I'm going to color that in. Then at 2 batteries, I'm going to graph that at 300, then 3 batteries at 360. So then I would be done with number 6. When you're done with number 6, go down to number 7, and it says, analyze the data in your graph and write a conclusion about the relationship between the number of batteries and the electric current in the circuit. Support your conclusion with evidence. So evidence is generally something that we've learned in class. So take what you learned from those notes that we've talked about and actually discuss why the relationship happened. So that should be something from your notes. I want at least 3 to 4 sentences. Now, this page right here, after you get finished, I want you to take a picture of it and upload it to the Schoology assignment. You're just uploading this back page right here, so 5, 6, and 7. Make sure that I can read all of the information. If you don't know how to take a picture with Schoology, there is a video in the Schoology resources that shows you how to take a picture and upload it to Schoology. So that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of class today.